So by the time you're watching this video, I would have surpassed my 1 year mark at Amazon. It's kind of crazy to say that. And this video is going to be completely unscripted. It's going to be off the dome. I've got some of my notes here. I've just been kind of like trying to put together my thoughts on like the last year that I spent at Amazon. And this has actually been a significant part of my life for the last year. Um, yeah, my career across cybersecurity over the last few years has been pretty public. I've, kind of chronicled my journey as I've kind of grown into becoming a security engineer and now working at Amazon. It's been one of my biggest career accomplishments, I'd say, or even my biggest career accomplishment so far. And this last year has been quite a very interesting experience. It's definitely been one that has been like full of its ups and downs, its ambiguities, it's like different things to it. But I think this is going to be a video where I just kind of capture my thoughts on what that has been like and, looking forward into the future. So I took a couple notes here, and I was thinking about this. When I was thinking about this, I was just kind of like dropping down my thoughts as I thought about it, and like a couple of different things. So the first thing here is about the fact that, and this might seem unrelated, but just follow me here and kind of like see where I'm going with this. So, all right, had to make sure my lips were moisturized. But so, um, I'm an immigrant, right? I was born and raised in Nigeria, and back there, it's at least during the time I was born, it's mostly like unfavorable conditions, right? Things are not like chaotic, but mostly unfavorable. There's tons of ambiguity, there are undesirable situations, and there is less opportunity. So I think coming from that life or coming from that background makes me recognize and appreciate better when I see better, right? Living in the United States and everything about the United States is significantly better than Nigeria in several ways, at least for me. And that's been my experience so far. So I think I have a different perspective to a lot of things. And I think the way I approach a lot of things is very different from other people who might not be from where I'm from or were born and raised here. So I think that my background with like less opportunity and less desirable situations help me to appreciate opportunities here and even see them differently than most, which is why I think I'm able to capitalize on them better and think differently and approach them in a different way. But I hope that makes sense to preface this video. Now, another thing I want to add before I go into the video is that the way Amazon is as a company, from my opinion, is what makes it successful. And again, before I go into the video, everything I'm going to be saying in this video is my opinion, not the opinion of my employers. Just want to get that out of the way. But I think the way Amazon is what makes it successful. So another preface. Now into like, stuff about the last year. When I was working at Datadog, it was the best job I'd ever had, right? I previously worked at Datadog. If you don't know, I made a couple of videos about it, made a couple of vlogs about it, lots of stuff about it content-wise, so I will leave some videos in the description below if you want to go check out like my experience there. I also made a video about my first year there, how I transitioned from being an analyst to a detection engineer at Datadog doing cloud threat detection. All that stuff I've talked about it in the past. But when I was leaving my job at Datadog, I had a little bit of fear. I don't think I told anyone this, but I was scared because I was living a great job with a lot of stability, a good amount of predictability, a great working environment, great pay. I'd say pretty good pay. It's pretty good pay. And lots of opportunity for growth and development and really cutting edge stuff. And I was leaving it for Amazon. And my perception of Amazon had been already kind of initially influenced by what I had seen online, whether that's videos on YouTube, blind, right? I have Blind on my phone, but I've not looked at it in over a year now, right? Blind was definitely had a huge effect on how I saw Amazon. So, going through the interview process and now getting an offer to work at this company and accepting that offer, I was scared. I didn't know what to expect because I was going from Datadog to a fan company to a trillion dollar plus company, right? One of the biggest companies out there, one of the largest employers out there. Um, yeah, I was going to be making more money, which is great, right? But I was going into something I didn't really know about. And I was going into a new domain, a new domain of my security career, like uncharted territory. So I didn't know what to expect. So I was scared. I was very scared. But I just kind of you know what? I prayed about it. I felt like it was the right decision to leave and take that role. And I did it. And the last year has been very rewarding. It's been very challenging, I would say. It's been the most challenging for me, career wise, but it's been the most rewarding career wise as well. So I think it was a good thing I wanted to highlight. Now, I think that I had to physically be an employee of Amazon in order to form my own perspective and opinion of working there and dissociate that away from what I had seen on the internet. And my experience has been wildly different from what I might have had as a preconceived notion before joining Amazon. So, fear, I didn't know what to expect, all that stuff. But here's what I've learned in the last year, and what has made itself known to me. I've lived as a security engineer over the last year. The first thing I've experienced is the fact that there's a lot of intention behind how things are done and why things are done. And this kind of ties back into what I initially said about Amazon is the way Amazon is what makes it successful. Like doing things at a large scale and keeping that massive of a ship sailing requires a lot of intention. And I have seen that even down to the lowest levels of individual work or leadership, whatever the case is. There's a lot of intention, and I think that actually translates, that motivates me to be very intentional about what I do. There's a lot of intention, there's an actual thought that goes into decisions that are being made, processes, a lot of things that make things that are done very well thought out. And it's no surprise that the company has the success that it does because of that level of intention. This is the next thing I'll talk about is about my personal experience. People and relationships are your biggest assets. I think honestly, whether career-wise or outside of the career, I think that people and relationships are your biggest assets. And relationships, whether it's your relationship with God, right? If you're religious or spiritual, but you're also your relationship with people, your family, your friends, but also your relationship with your coworkers, your leaders, people in other teams or their orgs, your mentor, your mentees, maybe. Those are your biggest assets because one, you're going to be working with those people on a daily basis, whether you're remote or in person. You're going to be interacting with those people, and having a good relationship with them makes a difference. You don't have to be best friends with people. You don't have to always agree on things. That's kind of one of the leadership principles of Amazon: have backbone, disagree to commit. But those relationships make a huge difference, right, on your day-to-day basis, on collaboration, on working on things, on getting your ideas pressure tested, on getting people to buy into your ideas, right? Those relationships matter. Another thing is the fact that writing and communication will get you further faster. It's a beautiful thing about Amazon culture that writing is huge there. And that's challenged me a lot because I've been writing a lot more actually, like these last few months over the last year, because I've been trying to be a lot more um, methodical about my videos. So I've been actually taking the time to sit down, flesh out an idea, and script it out so that I'm able to like engulf everything that I want to talk about with regards to an idea in the video without rambling on. But this video is not unscripted. Very ironic. But writing and communication would get you further faster. And I say that because it's not always about the technical skill. I think that is super important. I think that's 50, 60, maybe even 70% of the equation. But without the 30% or 40 or 50% of communication, like those technical ideas you have cannot be adequately disseminated. So I've had to be challenged and learn how to like convert my ideas into clear communication, whether it's writing or just talking to people, right? Because you have to be able to like communicate in order for your ideas to get pressure tested, to get buy-in, to get approved, or whatever the case is. But writing and communication is like at the core of a lot of things, right? I follow a guy named Dan Koh on YouTube, on Twitter. He's like a philosopher, entrepreneur. He's multiple things, but a core aspect of everything it talks about is writing. And I think if more people wrote, I think the world would be a better place, because like people actually would get to like flesh out their thoughts and actually like spend some time like thinking through the things they want to say or do, which is lacking a lot in the world today. And writing actually like helps you get into a flow state in a weird way that some other things don't get you into, like the technical work. So writing and communication would get you further faster. Now, another thing about doing things at this scale, at least in my experience, and the magnitude of the work, is that you have to learn how to manage your time and prioritize. And I wrote here, time management and prioritization will make you succeed beyond hard work. I know a lot of people who are very hardworking. I think I'm a very hardworking person. A lot of people are very hardworking, but they lack time management and prioritization. So that essentially doesn't allow them to be able to adequately put their time and effort, that hard work, into the things that matter. Or they just don't have enough time for it because they're not good at managing their time or prioritizing in accordance to the time that they have. And I've had to learn how to manage my time better, because I feel like I was already good at managing my time, but I had to be better at that, but also prioritize, right? For me, it was a balance between like my full-time Amazon work, which is a massive undertaking, but also like still wanted to make my videos, like still wanted to like, make these cybersecurity career videos, these technical videos, manage the Discord, and a bunch of other stuff, right? Take certifications. I took multiple certifications this year, and we're in November, about to end. I've been slacking. I'm supposed to be preparing for the GCIH, and I plan to take it before the end of the year. And I do need to do some time management and prioritization there. So I need to, actually, I guess, listen to my own words. But I've really had to learn and be intentional about managing my time and prioritizing, right? With security, there's a lot of prioritization at the core of it. Like whether it's like vulnerabilities, like how do you prioritize vulnerabilities? How do you prioritize alerts? But how do you prioritize the work that you do, the things you put your effort into? And how does that align with the business's goals as well? So if I had to learn that, and that's been a really great learning and growing experience. Next thing I've also learned is the fact that flexibility and adaptability are difficult in the short term, but pay dividends over the long term. Oh, by the way, sorry if I look down my notes. But yeah, the reason why I say this is because being flexible and adaptable in the short term is like you have to make sometimes very drastic changes or very like hard turns in the moment. And in the short term, it's actually like very uncomfortable that you have to do those things, because it's like, dang, like you really want me to make a 180 on this or 270 on this or 360 on this? Like that's very uncomfortable in the short term. But a lot of times it leads to more benefits. It yields more dividends over the long term. And that's one thing that I've learned is like, yes, the now is important, but like there's always this like, notion of being forward thinking, right? With regards to like, does this thing we're doing scale, right? If we look back, if we go ahead 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and we come back to this thing, are we able to trace what we did here? Things like that. So being flexible and adaptable is good, even though it might be uncomfortable in the short term. In the long term, you will reap the dividends for that, which is better off, right? Delayed gratification. Next thing I've had to learn is learning how to have backbone, disagreeing, and committing. It's one of the Amazon's many leadership principles. If you're not familiar with the leadership principles, go check them out. They're like kind of these core principles that drive how we approach everything in Amazon. So there's a lot of information about them online, even on Amazon's site. So recommend checking them out. But yeah, the reason why I wrote this is because you're there for a reason. So make your opinions known, but know when to back down and agree on decisions. So one of the things that I actually had to face and overcome when I got into this role was like a lot of imposter syndrome, right? I felt like everyone around me was like incredibly smart, and I still think this. I still feel the same way. Like I work with incredibly smart people, like very, very smart, brilliant people, intelligent people that have been doing this way longer than I've been doing it. And it's like, dang, maybe my opinions don't matter, right? But I have grown into like actually like realizing that I am there for a reason. Like my contributions actually matter. My opinions actually matter. My background actually matters. Like the thoughts I have actually matters. The context I have actually matters. So I should know when to bring that forward because we're essentially working towards the same goal, right? My technical expertise matters, but I also have to find a balance between that and knowing when to agree with a collective decision, right? Because there's a balance between I know this is what we're supposed to do. We should do this. We must do this, and also having to move forward with the decision that wasn't palatable with what I thought was the right way to do things, right? So that's where having backbone, disagreeing, and committing comes into play. And I think this has been the best place where I've actually experienced that because in the past I have always been the youngest in the team, the least experienced in the team, the most, I've always felt like, man, like I'm looking up to y'all here, like y'all got it, right? Like y'all have the experience, y'all have been doing this longer than I have been doing it, and even though I might have been skilled or I might have had experience or context that might have been helpful for conversations or helpful for technical decisions or implementations or whatever the case may be, I didn't always feel like I could be confident enough to put those things on the table. But this has been, it's crazy to say that the place that has had the most technical difficulty with whatever I've been doing, the most amount of scale, the most amount of like brilliant people, right, has been the place where I've actually been able to see the value in my opinion, see the value in my skills, see the value in my technical abilities much more than anywhere else. And the imposter syndrome is still there. Like I still deal with it every single day. Till this day. Like when I was working on some automation stuff, I still feel the imposter syndrome because I'm like, dang, I didn't know this. Well, I guess I just figured it out. But what I've learned is that what I've experienced here is that regardless of that, like I still feel confident enough to know I can bring my ideas to the table. I can bring my opinions to the table. I can bring my technical expertise, my technical background, and even my inadequacies of not knowing certain things. And they're respected. They're challenged respectfully. And they matter, right? Whether or not they're taken and implemented. And that's been very challenging, but also very rewarding and satisfying altogether. So, yeah. Next thing I wrote here is focus on what is important aggressively at the pace of the business. Things move really fast here, like really, really fast. And I've had to learn how to move the pace of that. And I think a lot of people like think that, when you go to a bigger company, like you're just going to be working on some like tiny feature. Has been the opposite of one of my experiences. Like things move fast here. just as fast as like they did like in my previous, roles where I was working at, more like, you know, bigger companies or startup vibe companies. Like things move pretty fast here. Like they're as much as like as big as as Amazon is as a company, there's still a lot of things to be done. Like this is not a place where you just kind of coast or you just kind of like work on some small thing. Like we still have that day one culture, and I'm smiling while I'm saying that because it's like it's very much exemplified in the way things are done. Like it's still very much strong here. Like when the day one culture is talked about, it's still that day one culture, like all day, every day. So learning how to like focus on what's important aggressively at the pace of the business has been something that I've been trying to do and I've experienced because ultimately the goal is to be customer obsessed, at least from what I understand, and also like, you know, provide value to the business. And I've had to like learn and be challenged to do that, and it's helped me really grow with regards to my career over the past year. Next scenario here is to understand the goal of the business and align with it based on your role, team, and org. And all of these things I'm saying are gonna be like things you can take and apply at your own role, whatever you're doing, like whatever skill it is at. I'm sharing this because I feel like it's valuable, and what I've experienced and what I've learned could be something you take and you go run with that and you go excel at what you do. So you could choose not to take it. It's all up to you. But understand the goal of the business and align with it based on your role, team, and org. And I wrote this in a more forward, I guess, looking manner because I had to learn how to understand the goal of the business, learn how to align that based on my role and organization, right? Because in large companies, each team organization has its specific function, right? They're literally designed to help solve specific problems, to help manage specific tasks, to help do specific things. So learning how to align with those goals, right? From my very first day, when I was having conversations, I was asking, my manager, my skip, people I was working with, like, what are our goals? Like, what are we trying to achieve? Like, what essentially are we? What is our team for? Like, what are we trying to achieve as a team, right? In an organization, and that's been my driving force because the orgs exist to help drive business goals, and the orgs have their own goals, and those goals are in alignment with like what the goal of the business is. Like you just think about it as like you have your own goals. How do you align those goals with like your team goals? Because those team goals are tied to your organization's goals, and your organization's goals is tied to the business goals. So it's like there are like layers. There's a waterfall of like goals. So at the smallest unit of the company, which is you as an IC, or me as an IC, I learned how I've been learning, and I'm learning how to align with that. Whether it's like with the skills I'm building, with the things I'm learning, with the people I interact with the way I write processes, I implement things, people I connect with, relationships I build. All of those things I have continuously learned how to refine the process of aligning with those goals because it helps me with growth in my career as an individual, but also helps with like being a part of driving the goals that the business is trying to achieve. And the last one, this one is take time for yourself. Intense work equally requires intense rest. Know when to take the afternoon, day, or week off. Um, I know a lot of people like really like perpetuate this grind hustle culture. I think there's a place for that. I think there is a space for it. There's a space for like working hard. I love hard work. I love the idea and just being able to throw myself at something and just like go at it. Like just freaking like hustle and just like get this thing done. And that's helped me a lot. But when you operate at an intense pace of work, you have to learn how to also intensely rest, right? Because if you're always go, like work, like you're going to burn out. I've experienced burnout enough times to know that, right? So learning how to like some days like you just need to take the afternoon off. Like just take the afternoon off, go take a nap, all right, or just go to your favorite restaurant and grab some food. Like if you're working in cybersecurity, you're getting paid mostly decently enough to go grab yourself a nice lunch or a dinner at somewhere that you like, right? Anywhere, most places, right? So just do that. Treat yourself to something nice, right? Or just take a few days off. Like just take the rest of the week off, right? Of course, if you need to hand over something, do that. But just take the rest of the week off and just do whatever you want, like with that. Especially if you've been grinding hard for like a very long period of time. So I've learned how to do that. I've learned that I know that I work at a very intense pace, and I can get really sucked into that. So I've learned how to like prioritize rest, and even schedule rest. Sometimes I kind of feel a pattern of like, man, I've been going hard for the last few months. I haven't really taken a break from anything, and I just like, okay, let me finish up this thing I'm working on, and for the next 3 days, like from Wednesday till Sunday, I'm just gonna chill. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not going to like. I'm just gonna like be a slob. I'm just gonna wake up anytime I want and sleep anytime I want, and then you know Monday, I'm back to work, back at it again, and then keep that cadence because I don't want to. I know I've gotten burned out enough to know my tipping point, and I know where that edge is, and it's right at that edge that I know. Okay, this is where I need to like kind of pause, take some time for myself so I can recuperate and get back into work. 'Cause I love the work, I enjoy it. But yeah, that's been what I've learned over the last year. I've been also blessed to like be now part of a new team very recently. So the last few months, the last 11 or so months, I spent my time doing incident response, investigations, automation, all that fun stuff. By the way, if you want to see what a day in my life looks like, doing all of that, being an incident commander, automation, investigations, and response, I made a vlog about it a while back. I'll leave a link to it on a card somewhere on the screen, somewhere up here or in the description below. Check it out. Kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. But I recently moved to a new team. It's gonna be amazing. I made a post about it on Twitter. I said that I feel like every day I wake up, I'm part of the Amble Black Ops, preparing for S rank missions. If you get that reference, you kind of know what I'm talking about there. It's gonna be really exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to taking on more challenges, like solving more problems, like just really like get into the weed of things. I've recently been coming back to the office 3 days for now, and then 5 days next year, and that's definitely something that's been challenging as well, I'll say. But I think in that challenge is also kind of like learning how to adapt to that. Right, goes back into the point of adaptability and flexibility. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the people I work with. It's been a great experience. It's been rewarding. It's been very challenging, but very rewarding. Like the space I'm working in is very, very like innovative, very, very like different from what I've ever done. But challenges me, pushes me, grows me in ways I haven't grown in the past, and like it's really amazing to like see the growth there. And I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for growth. Excited for everything that's to come. And I don't know when this video is gonna be. I don't know when this video is gonna go out, but if it's in 2024, I'm excited for 2025 for growth in that year as well, and just becoming a better security engineer. I'm just loving that, like learning how to solve problems, collaborating, and just doing cool stuff. But that's been this video. I will keep making videos like this every year as I learn new things, as I take on new challenges, and I figure out new things in my career. This is probably going to be an episode of my engineering diary, so it's going to be one of my newest uploads to that. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I make these videos every now and then, just kind of reflect, and I kind of go back to them sometimes, and I watch them like, oh, like I've seen some growth from there. So if you want to see more of these videos, I have a whole playlist of them somewhere right here on the screen. Go watch the playlist. Kind of tracks my career so far. Some musings I have, thoughts and all that stuff. But thanks for watching, and check out the description for the Discord, for the newsletter, and also for our merch. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.